as the music of management fades into the background, welcome. Welcome to Cranfield University, the School of Management. My name is Toby Thompson. I'm the director in the glorious Grenville Turner Studios here in Cranfield School of Management. It's great to have you with us. And if you're watching the recording, stick around to the very end because we have ways to contact us and we are very keen to carry on the conversation, so keep watching. If you're on the live event, we're keen to find out where you are. So in the Gecko text chat, just type in where you are in the world. Makes us feel warm and fuzzy. We're here talking about the Management MSc here at Cranfield School of Management. So if that's of interest to you, and you're in the right place. If it's not, I still think you're in the right place. We want to hear from you. This is an interactive session. We want your questions, your comments, your challenges, pretty much at any time that we're going to be together. We're going to be together in the live session for about an hour, no more than 1 hour, and that's dependent upon your questions, so keep those coming. In terms of who we're questioning, we have the course director for the Management MSc here with us and an amazing alumnus from that program. So your chance to ask the course director questions and then have them tested and checked by the students. We know that you have a choice of where you study your Management MSc. We also know that you've done a little bit of homework about Cranfield University. But before we go any further, let's remind ourselves what an amazing place Cranfield School of Management is. Gets me fired up whenever I see that. And you're thinking, what's management got to do with waves? You might hear more about that story later on. Please keep your questions and challenges and comments coming. We're going to be together for about an hour talking about the Management MSc, helping me do that in the studio. Michael, it's good to have you back with us. Professor Michael Dickman, no less. And I love this because your profession of International Human Resource Management.
Correct.
That's your chair. But you're also course director of the Management MSc and the full-time MBA.
That's correct. And it's great to be here and to be able to speak to all of you around the world.
And you are expecting a whole bunch of difficult questions, challenges, and comments about the course.
Of course. And I mean, look, we want to transform people's lives, their careers, and the way they see the world and actually lead within the world. So yeah, by all means, ask difficult questions. You can also ask easy questions if you like. That'd be nice.
You know how to do that in the Gecko text chat. Type your name and just ask away. You can also ask questions about career resilience, international mobility in terms of careers. That's your kind of area too.
Correct. You can do that too if you like.
Wow. And we're talking about career mobility and international mobility of students from Cranfield. We're joined by Sangya. Sangya, just give us a wave just to prove to us that you're not AI generated.
No, I'm for real.
You're real. Well, it doesn't prove it. You're in Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah.
Say a little bit more about yourself.
Yep. So, hi everyone. I'm Sangya Singh, and I was a MSc student in management at Cranfield University, and I am currently working with Lola International School. That is something which my parents are doing, and it's our own business. And I'm into administration and HR. And I've learned a lot at Cranfield. Cranfield is a place where you're going to get a lot of exposure, and it's going to, help you build your career and develop you as an individual, which is going to be really good for you and for your future.
Fantastic. Stick around because there's a ton of questions coming your way. Want to hear more about the application of what it is that you learn on the course, of course, directly in this case. So thank you very much indeed. Michael, can you maybe situate where the course, the Management MSc, sits in terms of the School of Management? Say a bit more about the School of Management, the specialisms, and where Management MSc sits in.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Yes, another difficult question, Toby. The School of Management is one of the elite schools who have a triple accreditation of the key accreditation institutions around the world. In fact, we have more, right? We have
3 is not enough.
Exactly. So we have a range of other ones so in relation to small and medium-sized enterprise excellence, but also in relation to sustainability. And you've seen the video just now. All the courses at the School of Management are ranked in the top 10 in Britain. All of them, there is no exception. The Masters in Management, for example, is ranked number 5 in Britain, but number 1 for international student experience, number 2 for career progression, number 2 for return on investment. So there's a range of great rankings.
Well, we have that ranking slide. Let's put that ranking slide up again, just to remind you of that. Just one slide, just pretty much reiterates what it is that you said.
Okay.
So the rankings for us mean that we are talking the right talk, we're relevant to business, we're business facing and pragmatic.
Yeah, look, you asked me to describe it, right? I started with the rankings, and then this is the place in Britain that's nearest to what we call action. So it is putting knowledge into action, and we have a lot of business connection. On the Masters in Management, it shows through an incredible high level of internships that the students do, every year above 90%. But it also shows simply in the way we work with students. Essentially, all of the teaching staff have worked in industry or work with industry. And we have all sorts of elements where we bring companies either onto the campus or into our teaching when we do consultancy modules or anything like that. So yes, this is very, very close to business.
Pragmatic. So how does the course stay relevant? It sounds like from what you're saying, the academics are already from business. How do you stay up to date?
That's true. It's an ongoing challenge, but we like to have that challenge, right? So there are different mechanisms. We have an advisory board staffed with mostly preeminent business people who will tell us what they want. We are accredited, so the Masters in Management is accredited by the Chartered Management Institute. So you get 2-in-1 degrees, basically, because you get a degree as a chartered manager once you've done successfully the Masters in Management. And they define what they think is absolutely key to make a person a successful leader and manager. Now, this is actually not too difficult for us because we go beyond that. But they keep us on our toes, of course, in terms of, okay, now you need to do something more. So we have introduced this year. Sanya hasn't had it yet. Sorry, but this year we are introducing data analytics and AI, how to work with that. And it's
an elective or a module? What is that?
It's a module. It's not an elective. You've got to do it.
You've got to do it. Who wouldn't want to do it?
Yes. I mean, we've incorporated AI and what AI does for whatever subject at any rate in our teaching.
Right.
But so this would be, what do you do in marketing, or how do you use AI for recruitment purposes in HR also? But we also want to have a dedicated module to deepen and integrate that knowledge. So to stay relevant, we have continuous industry exposure We have people coming to us or institutions like the CMI working with us, but we also go out into industry. And we do management consulting to a key client once a year. The client changes every year.
Wow.
So we've had EY, we've had Deloitte, we had Citigroup, we had Baker Hughes, we had World Vision.
These are big names.
Yeah, very big names. Last year we had Levi to work with their top teams on an issue.
A real issue, not some academic wheel spinning thing, a real issue.
Yeah, look, you're not wasting your time here. You want to work on real issues that move organizations, right? On top of that, we have a range of consultancy activities which are competitions, right? And last year, for example, the Hout competition, that's a competition that pays $1 million to the winning team, had 20,000 teams.
20,000
in a competition like that, you know, the money talks sometimes. And our team won the British part, so the Masters in Management one. So was amongst the 21 last teams to compete in India. Well, 7 competed in India, 7 competed in Portugal, and 7 in the US. And the winners then went to Boston to compete in the last 3.
And they won a million.
And we were the run-up in India.
Pretty good.
So this brings the team amongst the top 10 in the world.
That's incredible.
Right? Fantastic. And we do all these sorts of things to be really, really relevant for aspiring leaders who want to achieve something in their lives.
Wow. Let's talk about that. It sounds like a lot of pressure. Sangya, tell us why you chose, going back to that pragmatic and industry-facing side of the course, why did you choose Cranfield?
So while choosing my universities for my master's, I had few things in my mind. And number one was that I wanted a university or a college that was actually ranked good. And it is renowned and old, because I believe the older the institutions, the better the practices and the methodologies I've been using, and so is the faculty there. And thirdly, I wanted some university that was actually standing, apart and was unique in its own way. Cranfield University was one of the universities in UK, not one, I would say the only university in UK that was actually offering an internship right during your course, which actually gives you the hands-on experience to understand the professional industry. When you are international student like me, or you've never worked before, then it's actually very helpful for you to get the UK work experience in your CV or resume before you step out in the professional industry after you're done with the master's. And secondly, the kind of exposure you get in the university, it may be a university that is not, in the center of a town maybe, and you do not have many things to go around or, explore much, but that actually helps you to stay within the campus and explore the campus and the possibilities of learning more within your batch of students and with your faculties and all the activities that's happening in the university, which is actually so helpful for you to grow as an individual. And of course, that helps you in your career as well. And thirdly, the Spain trip. Now, I guess no other university in UK or any other place is offering something like that, a trip to Spain for a month where you get to learn a lot, from the cultural activities to, the various problems you're solving there as like your daily routine and in your academics as well. That is something which is so unique and no the university offers. So these were the pointers that actually, worked for in my case, and I was pretty sure that Cranfield was the one. And of course, the scholarships. You have to struggle a lot when you want to get into universities. And Cranfield was one that offered really great scholarships during that time as well when I was applying. The early bird access and the, the the bursaries and all. So yeah, these are the pointers in my case.
Wow, we want to cut to the chase. Sangya's talking about Spain. What's that got to do with management? What's that got to do with Cranfield? Tell us more about that.
And she talked about internship.
Indeed.
But so Spain, we are going with all the students to Spain, first to Granada, and then to Valencia.
Is that included in the cost of the course, or have you got to pay extra?
It is included in the cost of the course in the sense of we pay for the flights, we pay for the accommodation, we pay for some food. And we also pay for some certain extracurricular activities, whether it be paella to cook your paella. Remember that one?
That sounds fun.
a paella masterclass, or you go to the Alhambra in Granada, and so on. So we do a range of things that are cultural, but also business related, right? We go and explore companies, what they do. Every year, again, it might be different. We had a motor racing organization. We had a football team. Football is big in Spain. But in parallel, in this month, we are teaching. So we are teaching 2 courses there. And that's probably the unique part, is first of all, bring the students to a different environment, and then not just letting them go, but teaching them cross-cultural management so that they understand what goes on around them in a more structured way. And then this management consulting part, where people really, really intensively work together to create solutions to an ongoing business problem of a major organization. That's fun. And I think I can say, because we have been for several years now #1 in Britain for international experience for the students. It's a really nice part. And Sanya, we also, the students come together as a team, as a cohort. And I mean, I'm really enjoying it. I know you guys, you students, you're all enjoying it, but I'm enjoying it too, okay? To be there, and also some of my colleagues to really integrate with students, to play volleyball with them. I played quite a lot of volleyball this year, beach volleyball with them, but it's different every year, right? Or you go with an architect. Our students have wonderful backgrounds, and so I went with an architecture student in Valencia, and she explained to me some of the buildings in Valencia.
Wow.
Okay, we had an ancient history student. And going with him to Alhambra is also, it's a UNESCO World Heritage castle, and so bringing that together, we feed each other. It's a brilliant part.
Okay, Sanya, that just sounds like good fun. You're learning stuff at the same time, right?
Yeah, of course. It's like when you go to Spain, you're not only, as I mentioned, you're not only learning about the daily life, but you're also learning academics over there. We did have lectures, we did have our own assignments and group studies, like back in Spain. But then we also made sure that we have to learn how to survive in a new country like Spain. So I would say, like, if you're in Cranfield and you enroll for this course, you actually learn and you get to experience 2 places at once. One is UK, of course, and the other one is Spain. So it's like buy one, get one free. And yeah. And then the fact that the professor just mentioned, that students get along a lot. So it's very natural for students, like when they first go to university or in school or anywhere, any education institution, you may find people that they form their own groups, and they may not interact with everyone if you have batches or you have your normal academic classes or lectures. But when you're in Spain, like when we went to Spain, the way all the students mingled and they got together, that was something really nice to feel and see as well, because I could experience it on my own. The number of students whom I did not interact with at the first go, but when you are in a completely new country and you have to learn things and do things on your own, you got to help each other and have back of each other. So that was something really nice. And then, of course, having the real life problems for companies, solving them in a new environment and enjoying the culture as well, and getting the results, that is something completely different, and I would say very makes you feel and learn more about your academics and, of course, the environment you are in.
And walking the talk, by the sound of it. I take it lectures are in English or in Spanish?
No, they're in English.
And your Spanish is fluent, right?
Yes, but that doesn't, I can't expect that from the students. They do have some chance to brush up a bit on their language skills beforehand. And I heard that Sanya still remembers gracias and a few other things like de nada. That's fine. Okay, but I can't assume this is at a level where, but it's fun. And I have been going out with students in the evenings, and they insisted on ordering the food in Spanish and all that. So that's fun.
Well, okay. Before we start talking about internships, let's look at the course, because we know that you can go to the website and find out all the information, but just give us an overview of the course structure.
Okay, so actually, for the first time ever, and I have been leading this course for 11 years now, for the first time ever, we will have a January intake as well. right? So we've had an intake in September, this year, 2 months ago, and in 2 months we will have another intake.
So you're taking applicants now for January?
We do. And we can talk about scholarships because it's our first time. We really give good scholarships because we want to bring this into the market. Now, those 2 cohorts will actually join for the first half of the course.
Mm-hmm.
They will have lectures together from January to March, and then we all go together to Spain. That's April and May, right? We'll be there together, and then the cohort who has started in September, they will go into the internship, while the cohort from January will do some more modules and then go into an internship in September to November. That's the kind of structure. Now, we have designed it to give you the key things that you need to do and need to know as a successful manager. We have designed it in a way that you have a very strong leadership journey to become a successful leader per se. And we've designed it to be able to increase your networks and to use whatever you learned in your internships. And it's always difficult, Toby, to talk about internships because a lot of other universities say, oh, you can have an internship. It's very different because other universities expect you to get your own internship.
Right.
And then they end up with 5 to 10% of students actually doing it. We provide the internships to the students. I have a little crack team working on company liaison and selecting, so gathering companies who are interested, but also selecting the right kind of internships so that that students can learn. So they are important operationally and also have some strategy element to it. And then the students do this for 3 months, right? And it's fantastic because the students really enjoy, as Sanja said, get it on your CV, but it's a great learning activity, right? And I've just been looking at the outcomes of some in a sense of you write a report about it and a personal reflection. And I've looked at a student who got a job offer actually from his financial technology company.
Wow.
And he said, I was really impressed because I worked in Cranfield and it was about knowledge, right? And skills and behaviors. But I thought the better knowledge, the more knowledge, the better. And then I got to my CEO, who is incidentally an ex-Cranfield MBA.
Of course.
And she said to him, knowledge is great. Insights are better.
Right.
I don't need the whole knowledge. I want your insights.
How do you get insights?
Yes, and how does that then transfer to what we can do as the company is called FinTech, as an organization, right? So it's really useful for people in their learning of what management means, what reflective learning means from your experience, what leadership means, and about a third or so of students do get a job offer directly from the company. And so that's an added bonus. We can't guarantee that, but it's an added bonus for a lot of students who really like that.
So 90% get on an internship and 30% of those get a job at the end of it.
Exactly. More than 90%.
More
right?
than 90%.
We had more than 100% internship projects. So the offer is there.
Right.
Some students choose not to do an internship, maybe because they want to do a PhD or something.
Okay.
So a few students choose not to do it, right?
So for the internship, and Sanja, I'm going to come to you asking about this one. Are you based in the company? Are you based on campus? How does that, Sanja, how did it work for you?
So I was very excited for the internship thing because that was the door to actually experience the British work culture. And I was so very prepared for that as well. I would first like to thank the careers team of Cranfield because as a student who has no knowledge about the UK work culture and the companies there, the careers team actually helped me build my resume first of all in the UK format, and secondly, they help you with the kind of interviews and the questions you're going to face, and you're going to meet people. So that was something which was very helpful, I would say. And they're very convenient as well. And then later on, you have your own rounds where you have, a list of companies and you can apply where you have interest in. And then once the dates are out for interview, you have your rounds one by one. I remember my part that we did not have any sorts of lectures during that time. So the university gave us ample amount of time to prepare for it and, present ourselves for the interview. And I was like, it was a 3-day interview session for me, I believe, because I
3 days.
applied in 4 or 5. Yeah, I applied in 4 or 5 interviews in companies, and I received like 3 calls from them. And luckily, I was in I was considered for all of them, and I had the thing to choose which company to go for.
Wow.
So, yep, I actually did my research as well. So that is what I mean. It's like when you are getting the internship offers from the university itself, you get more time to prepare for it. You put less time in actually finding and searching companies and
Mm.
getting worried about it and stressing about it. So in that ways, it was very helpful in my case. And also the most good point about the internships offered by university is that when you have the duty or when you have the responsibility of getting an internship on your own, you are actually competing with a lot many
Mm.
applicants in the world out there, in the industry out there. There are too many competitions, there are too many competitors over there. But when you are actually getting the offer from the university itself, you only have the competition among your batchmates. So that actually, gives you the confidence of thinking of getting better, higher chances for you to get and land to an opportunity or work in a company. So that ways, it was a very good opportunity for me. I researched, I prepared myself, I gave my interviews, and they went pretty well. And I landed myself for an internship based in London. I was very sure that I wanted to work in an office setup. We also had options to work from home. If you wanted to stay back in university and you wanted to work from home, you can do that. But I was very clear that I wanted to go in the office setup and meet new people, get the exposure of the city, London life, and learn there. So, ma'am, I remember in my case, it was Katrina and ma'am Preeti who helped me with my resume building and my interviews, and Preeti was the one who helped me throughout. Katrina was there for my CV, but Preeti was there till the last round of my interview. And then also the fact I was quite lucky enough because I also landed up in getting a grant from my university, from Cranfield itself,
Wow.
because my interview went pretty well. And then I was quite sure that I wanted to move out of university and go to the office. So I had a grant from the university. It was offered by Santander Bank, I believe. So I used my grant to get a new MacBook for myself for the office excitement. Yeah, so I had yeah, I was like so excited and so happy for the fact that I actually got a good internship. And I'm so grateful to university because they even offered me a grant. And I was quite a good employee, I would say, because my company was quite happy with me, with all my work I did, with my laptop, of course, and my skills I learned from Cranfield.
That's incredible. And just Sangyu, obviously a top student there. In terms of preparation, Sangyu was talking about preparation for that. What do you think, in addition, what preparation works the best?
Okay, so one is actually real interest in your internship company, right? So for the last few years, we've worked with Coca-Cola, and it's probably 3 or 4 years now that they give us internships, and we work with TUI, and we work with some other large company like PwC or EY, and we work with smaller companies. Now, we also had contact with Coca-Cola about 8 or 7 years ago, and they interviewed and they didn't choose a single student because they said they weren't well enough prepared.
They didn't research the company.
Exactly. And so we learned from that. So now we have so my internship team, in terms of working with the companies, are two people. One is Priti, Sanya mentioned her,
that, yeah.
but Priti also works in careers with Katrina. And so she is the go in between the companies and what they want and how to prepare the students. So we prepare them how to write your CV and how to go beyond AI, okay? Because lots of people use AI, but it's just not enough. We want them to personalize the CV in terms of what kind of company they're applying to. We do interview training and so on. So that thing is helpful. The other bit is helpful is simply interest in company and interest in what you want to achieve in life. Get clarity, and we work with our students to get this clarity, to make an impact in their life so that they have sustainable careers, we call that. So they are characterized by happiness, health, and productivity, right? So the companies are really interested in productivity, of course, but for you as an individual, you want to be happy and you want to be healthy. And so there's a virtual circle here, right? And so we're going with that on a journey. And Sanya, what we're trying this year, which is also new, is we're working with an instrument called Intelligent Career Framework with about how to do your career better, and that includes some coaching elements throughout this year. But it's one of the things where we adjust and refine and improve the program over time.
Who's providing the coaching? Cranfield's providing the coaching?
Cranfield, it's external coaches. It's also Cranfield, but it's also co-coaching of the students themselves. We put them up in pairs on that one.
Wow,
okay.
That's incredible. We've heard about internships. We've heard about an amazing time in Spain. Are there actually lectures here in Cranfield? What goes on? Is there any work and any exams and any assignments?
Yes, of course.
Tell us more about that, the boring side of it.
Yeah, the boring side. So we have about, ultimately we have about 12 modules now in the new, 14 modules,
Core.
but 12 here in Cranfield and 2 in Spain. The core modules that you are taking, there is a choice. So you have 6 modules, you have at least 6 modules that everybody takes. And then depending on the choice, because there might be 9 that we end up, but there are orientations. So you have a general master's in management orientation, but you also can choose an orientation around entrepreneurship and around sustainability or around human resource management. We run those if the demand is high enough, right? So we know that we have given students the choice and they have taken it this year already. So that's the September intake, and the January intake can have choices therefore as well.
Is that based on a personal preference, choosing one of those? Is it, I know I want to go into sustainability, therefore I'll do that? Or is it just curiosity? How do you determine which of those you go for?
Well, it's a journey, right? So part of it is through careers where they say, what do you want to do with your life? Part of it is people simply getting inspired here in Cranfield from our good colleagues, great teachers. So this year, for example, I think they've been inspired already by the entrepreneurship team, right? And what the Bethany Center does in terms of extracurricular activities. And that's why the demand for entrepreneurship is quite high. So it's not necessary that students know. Sometimes they do. I had a student who definitely wanted to do sustainability. She ended up in a sustainability consultancy in France, working there. And that was driving her. So she knew. But sometimes people don't know. And this is the time to experiment, to learn, to feedback with each other what you want to do. And so it's a journey.
Have an appetite for curiosity, be open to new things. Who do you think is watching the recording or watching the live session here? Are we talking about just people already in management or people in engineering, let's say?
All right. Yeah, good question. And maybe you have some on the chat.
There are a few questions on the chat.
Let's go to them, but let's go for about, actually this year, probably about 60% of students have an engineering background.
60%?
Any engineering. Yeah, it's slightly increased.
So the undergraduate degree could have been in engineering.
Yes, indeed. And the average is about 1.5 years of work experience, either through internships or actual initial work experience as a full-time employee for something. Then about 30% these days have some kind of management background. So they've studied management. They might have studied economics.
Would they have had a job in management, conceivably?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, very likely, right? And then 10% are the wild and wonderful people, right?
What are they?
As I say, well, they are. I've had a racing driver on the course. Okay, Formula 3 racing driver,
You're
motorsports. I've had an Olympic gymnast on the sport on the course, a French Olympic gymnast. I had a Greek tanker captain. Okay, 480 meters long ship. This is one of the biggest in the world. Georgios, who was on the course. So they're wild and wonderful in a sense, and I appreciate that. I really like it. Or the architect I talked about, right? So there are backgrounds that are not engineering or management.
They must bring
really well.
New perspectives to the course, to the cohort.
Absolutely. Oh, it was brilliant. Okay, wow. These people were really, really good. The architect also was in the Indian badminton team, so the all India badminton team. So that brought another sports perspective in. So it was brilliant, right? These people are brilliant.
Superlatives. Sangya, tell us more about your cohort. What were they like? How diverse were they? Where were they from? What sort of experience?
So my experience with my cohort was pretty good. As I mentioned first, at the very first time when we met in our, lecture halls, we didn't know much about each other. I could see that there were a lot many Indians though, but yes, we also had people from France, we had people from Italy, we also had people from China, we had people from a lot many other places. So we mingled really well during the time in our Spain. But then you also have your assignments and your group assignments and your individual assignments where you actually, need help and you want to, reach out to your classmates and batchmates to understand concepts and, your assignments and whatever activities that are happening on campus. So I believe that was one good part. But secondly, it's like you have so many things happening on campus itself. Like Cranfield never leaves an opportunity to provide something to the students. I believe during my time in university, I stayed on campus. This was one of the reasons why I stayed on campus, because Cranfield had so many things to offer. I mean, every other day we had some or the other kind of session or seminar or lecture or workshop that was actually helping in the development of these students. So I like during that time when you're actually going to seminars and you're meeting again your classmates and your people, your other friends from the courses you have at Cranfield, you actually make a lot good connections there. It's not only making connections within your own course, but making connections and making friends and networking within the courses you have in Cranfield. So that is one good part. And my cohort was pretty good. As I said, we mingled the most, we learned the most about each other when we were actually surviving there in Spain. But yeah, during the assignments time as well, like when you are in King's Norton Library, or maybe you are in SOM, or maybe you are in some of the other place where you're trying to, find peace and do your assignments, you'll find your batchmates there, and then you guys got really well. So that is something which I, miss and cherish, my memories from Cranfield.
It sounds like you had good fun there. Sangya talked about extracurricular stuff. Tell us about tonight. You got an amazing event happening tonight.
Yeah, that's right. So an ex-MBA alumna, her name is Elena Ambrosiadou, she's visiting again. And she's giving a speech about her career and gives some input what has shaped her career, and then mingles with MIMs and MBAs over drinks.
This is no ordinary individual.
But she is not ordinary, no. She graduated from Cranfield, and she had worked for BP and KPMG, and then she started her own hedge fund. And the hedge fund became so successful that she was the highest earning woman in Britain 1 year. And she then, because paparazzi followed her and all that, she then moved to Cyprus, where she now has a hedge fund. It's still going really, really strongly. So she is one of these people who have really made it in business. I've had the honor to work occasionally with her, and she is it's not just because her real business success, and you could see it, right? If you are so successful, you can choose what you want to do, right? And how you want to live and so on. But I was impressed by her work attitude and her caring for people. So people are important to her, and she wants to understand them, and she has very strong principles around what she expects from people that can be quite demanding, right? But also what she expects from herself. And so she's going to share that with her. And she has, in the past, provided opportunities for Cranfield students to come and join. I know that at least 2 students joined her hedge fund at some stage, right? Nice. It's, I didn't keep up with the students per se, but I know from talking to her that she had hired some of our students.
So networking is an integral part of the whole course by the sound of it.
It is, it's important. And in fact, this year, we're doing much more, because this year, for the first time, I'm also an MBA director, and I have simply opened up all networking activities to both courses.
Both courses.
Yeah, of course.
Wow. Sanya, right. Sorry, you're missing some of that stuff.
Yeah, sorry, Sanya.
It sounds like, Sanya,
there's some more.
Sanya, it sounds like you're learning from each other as much as you are from Michael and the academics. Is that right?
Yeah, of course. You get to learn a lot from each other as well, even though you're a student or you're meeting other students from other courses. Because as I said, Cranfield may be in a place where you are not, in touch with the city life a lot, but that is the advantage where you actually get to know your batchmates from other courses and your course mates, of course, and your professors. You get to spend more time within your campus. So, we also have CSA, that is Cranfield Student Association Bar and Cafe. So over there, you will find so many students spending time there, and then you get to meet them. You get to spend time, you get to discuss about the daily activities happening in college, and you get to know about what is actually happening that day or that evening. So you can, just tag along that ways. So yeah, that is how it was.
Let's talk about, Sanya, let's talk about it, because you said you were on campus. In terms of accommodation, yep. You stayed for the whole year on campus. How easy was that to arrange?
It was pretty easy and simple, to be honest, but you have to be really smart when it comes to on-campus accommodation, because again, on-campus accommodation is something almost every student would like to get on, because it is so convenient for you to stay on campus and go for your lectures every single morning, rather than traveling from a bus or from your motorbikes or your cars from your place to university to attend your lectures in chilly mornings. So on-campus accommodation is actually good that way. And then the process was quite simple. You have a portal which opens up at a particular point of time. You have to be smart enough to apply ASAP, because there are so many others waiting in the line, and they can apply, and then you may lose a chance to get the right accommodation for yourself on campus. The on-campus accommodation at times are quite they fill up really fast, and the one which you want, maybe that may go away, so you have to be pretty quick with that. But other than that, you have so many options available on campus. It depends upon your choice. Like, I was very particular, very clear with my choice that I wanted to be in Stringfellow itself, because I am somebody who feels very cold. And I had this thing in my mind that it snows in Cranfield, it will be really cold. So, and SOM is just next to Stringfellow. So that was the shortest way to SOM. So I was very clear that I wanted to get into Stringfellow. And the moment the portal was open for us, the next minute I applied for Stringfellow. And my all preferences for Stringfellow. And within 2 or 3 months, I had my result and I got Stringfellow. And many others who applied for Stringfellow, they couldn't get in because they were late in applying for the accommodation. But and almost all the accommodations there on campus, they're very well maintained. I mean, if you were a student who's coming for the upcoming batches, I would suggest you, advise you, and tell you guys to please go for on-campus accommodation. Actually, that is something where you will get a lot of benefits, because the benefits of attending most of the lectures, of course, every day, who would not like to attend the lecture? When you're applying to such a prestigious university, you should of course attend the lectures. And then all the activities and the fun sessions that are happening in the evening, all the activities happening in the CSA, even CSA is so happening. You have something or the other happening there. You know, networking events and your parties and like usual fun stuff. So it is
When
pretty
is it?
cool.
When is the
So
lectures?
No, there are lectures, but
There-
let me say Halloween just
Oh, yeah,
last
yeah.
week I went to Baroness Young Hall and we had a really good
yep.
party there
Dressed
with
up
the
as a-
students. That was good. Yes, of course, dressed up. But I wanted to ask you something else, Tanya. I have a daughter who studies in London and finds it quite dangerous to go home at night. There's stuff
Exactly.
Traveling
happening.
across
How do
London.
you feel in Cranfield?
I tell you, even I was in London while I was doing my internship. So if I compare my time in Cranfield and I compare my time while I was interning in London, I would say Cranfield is really safe. It is a place for students, of students, and for students, of course. So you're among a safe circle, safe people. Nothing is going to happen you, and you have such greenery around. You have such nice people around. You can, I mean, there's no chance of feeling scared or frightened or any sort of thing because you have such a great feeling. But back in London, I always felt so scared because I tell you, the internship experience is pretty good as well because you get to actually face the real world. Cranfield was a bubble where you were happy, you were safe, and you knew that everything is happening around you is nice and good. But London was like every time I had to come back from my office to my home, it was a 1 hour journey. It's a 1 hour journey to every single place if you're traveling or living in London. If you want to go at any corner, if and you're not residing in the central London exactly, then it takes almost 1 hour. And at times you have weird people on tubes and at stations, so you have to be very careful of the theft and all the stabbing that happens or goes around. So I mean, that's life. You like gradually learn how to live, but then if I tell you as a student, if you want to actually enjoy your time as a student, I would suggest you to stay on campus. It is 100% safe. It is so well maintained, so good people around you. You have Michelle Hall, you have cooked food, you have such great food there. And
I
the
like it
activities
too.
happening in Michelle Hall as well. I remember every Friday you have meals from other nationalities, so you can actually enjoy the recipes and the cuisines from
That
other
sounds fun.
nationalities as well.
That sounds
Yeah,
fantastic
yeah.
fun. Michael, can you tell us
Exactly.
more? There's a few
So,
questions. Sorry, I cut you off there. Sorry.
yeah,
There's
no
a few
worries.
questions in the chat around scholarships. Now,
All
we're
right.
looking at the Cranfield Excellence Scholarship. I think maybe you mentioned that earlier on. Say more about scholarships and we'll ask Tanya
Yeah.
about
So
her.
in January, the scholarships are for us. Look, we are a university that gives good scholarships, but they are particularly generous for January.
Right.
Because we do want to start with a cohort that experienced the journey and that we can say this is a market that actually works for us. So if you have what we consider a first class degree, then we evaluate this and you are likely as an overseas student to get such a scholarship that the actual course costs £15,000.
That's good.
It's really good. If you have a 2-1, the course would cost £20,000. If you have a 2-2, we will evaluate you for a scholarship and we could give up to £10,000 of a scholarship, but we'll need to see that case by case. If you're British, because we will focus also on the British market, you are paying £9,100. This is basically a 50% scholarship for the British part because there's split pricing, right? So the opportunity is fantastic in terms of the kind of financial help that we are giving. Only that overseas students have to apply before the 17th of November.
17th November.
Some might slip through until a month later, but depends on how the visa process goes. And in many countries, including India, you have to show that you have sufficient money on your bank account for a whole month for the British government to give you a visa. And that's why the deadline is so early, the 17th of November. If you happen to be rich and have all that money on the bank account, fine, then you can actually apply later. But generally speaking, for many countries, not for France, not for Italy or so, but for places like India, 17th of November is the deadline. So fantastic opportunity, but you've got to be fast.
Wow, you heard it here first. Don't wait. 17th of November.
And we will work very fast. We know that then, right? In terms of doing the admissions, we will try to work like in 3 or 4 days to do that. But 17th of November, and then you will see, let's say the week, but we try to be quicker, then you will get feedback relatively quickly.
Don't miss that opportunity. Sangya, tell us if you can about your student finance arrangements. How did it work for you?
So it was pretty good. I mean, very easy actually. I wanted to apply for scholarship and bursaries. So I actually reached out to an alumni from Cranfield when I was about to apply, and she mentioned that we were supposed to write a letter, I believe. So I prepared my scholarship letter and I already mailed the team, like I guess Cranfield people and the team must not be really happy with me at the beginning because I literally mailed so many times about the scholarship letter. But then later realized that it was automatically considered. So that's actually good. I got the early bird discount as well, and I also got the bursary, I believe, and it was around 20 or 25% of scholarship from me in my case. But I believe it was a pretty decent discount from me for me because I was not like I believe I was a late admission that time. I was a bit confused. So it was easy for me to apply and the team was really supportive. Like the mails, they were pretty active as well. So yeah, it was an easy process for me that ways. And I believe the scholarships that are offered by the university, they are really good for students and really helpful.
Thank you. Get in touch with anyone that you see on the screen here to find out more information, and check out UniBuddy as well if you want to do what Sangya did. There's a question from George, and thank you, George, for your questions. If you've not had a chance, put your questions into the Gecko text chat. George is saying, is this course suitable for someone coming straight from an undergraduate degree in business management?
Oh, good question. Yes, we do have some students doing that. They go straight from a bachelor and they do fine normally. It's the average is you have 1.5 years of work experience, but that gets clouded sometimes for people like George. Sorry, it's another George, this Greek tanker captain, who was, I don't know, 28 maybe, and so he had about 6 or 7 years of work experience, right? So it varies a bit. So sometimes people do have quite substantial work experience. Most people have less.
And the application process, walk us through that. What is a good applicant? What's a good application look like?
It's pretty simple, I think. I ask for me, there's a personal letter, right? A statement to us why you do this and what you have done in your life.
It's pretty much to you.
It is to me, and I read it. And then there is a CV. I look at the CV, okay? And that includes then you also need to provide degree evidence, right? And the degree evidence is mostly considered by my colleagues in admissions. I look briefly at the CV, but I look at the letter and briefly at the degree, but I look at letter and CV, and then I take a decision about this, right? With the idea of how do people, does that look like the right course for them, and how will they fit into the cohort, right? And are they likely to be right course in terms of their interest, but are also likely to be successful on the course. And last year, everybody was successful, right? That's great. And normally we have almost everyone, you know, we're talking between 95 and 100% of students are successful. They start and they finish and they get a degree. Okay, that's one. And those, you know, the one person who might leave, this is often personal. There's something there that happened. Yeah.
In terms of preparation, is there such a thing as preparing to come on the Masters in Management, or just turn up?
People are worried sometimes. Those people who don't have a management degree, if you're engineers, don't worry. No, absolutely.
Why particular engineers?
Because the mathematical abilities of engineers are far more advanced than they need on the course. Okay, so that's one of the worry. So the wild and wonderful people, right, who might have studied ancient history, like this Indian student who actually ended up, ironically, in the financial service in the city in London. Okay, so he went full tilt into mathematical capabilities. But he came with his father and visited me in my office, and we had a chat. And I said, "You don't worry about it. You can succeed on this because it's about interest and wanting to learn." And he did incredibly well. But some people are worried about math. They don't need to worry, because even if your mathematical background is not very strong, it's not an overly mathematical course, and we do have support mechanisms where people can catch up on the math. Some people are worried about accounting and finance. I don't know, Sanya, whether you were. Every year we have a few people who are, right? And then it turns out to be absolutely fine. What was your experience there?
Were you worried?
I was very worried because I'm somebody who's not good with numbers. And when the accounting and finance module turned up, I was like, I was so dependent upon my course mates and my group mates, because I was, as I mentioned, I was not good with numbers. And I was a commerce student, but I was very good with economics and business studies and my other subjects. But accounting and finance, but then, as I mentioned, we had an extra lecture from a professor. He was very understanding. He took extra lectures for us because I was not alone. There were many others who were not good with numbers. So for us, like, he was very helpful and understanding. He took extra lecture for us to understand it better. And then you have your course mates as well, and your finance students as well from the other course, who were a great help for you that ways. So even though you're not good with numbers, so was I. Like, I'm coming from mass communication background, for the ones who are not aware. So you can imagine the kind of change I had in this. So it's a course where you learn a lot, and you can come from any sort of background. People are there to help you, to stand by you. So it's pretty good that way.
But make use of that network. We only have a few minutes remaining, so put a question in if you haven't done that so far. Sanya, can I ask you, if someone is thinking about doing this course but are not quite sure, in a few words, what would you say to convince them?
To convince them. Okay. Number one, tell me a university in this world, if you can find, who will provide you an internship after your or during your course. You do not have to struggle on your own. They will provide you the internship, and the competition is only among your batchmates. Remember that first point. Or maybe name a university who will take you to another country like Spain, where you have nice fun and good weather for 1 month, and that too almost sponsored trip, because your flights are covered, your breakfast is covered, your stay is covered. What else do you want in that case? And then another, like, if you have any sort of another university who are providing you the number one rankings in the UK or in Europe about their course and the kind of industrial relationships they have with the other companies in the market. So if you can just answer them all, you only have one answer, and that is Cranfield. And so was I there. That was the question that I asked myself while I was comparing other universities on my list. And there was my answer. And I will ask the same question to you guys, and then you'll get your answer as well.
Incredible. That's a fantastic endorsement. Goes without saying, we are very keen. You have a choice, clearly, where you study, but we are very keen to welcome you. In a few seconds, your advice, what would it be now? Apply for that scholarship, I guess.
Well, the first advice is be fast.
Be fast, hurry up.
This is a real opportunity. I've now done this for 11 years as a director. We have not ever done this kind of opportunity where the financial scholarships are so high. We are already number 2 in Britain in terms of return on investment and value for money. So we are really on top there, and you get a fantastic university in terms of their rankings. So it's speed. Look at this, okay? And I do know that sometimes people think, I haven't heard of Cranfield, all right? They think, oh, I've heard of, some of the London University, the Manchester universities and others, because they have undergraduate students, and therefore they are ranked in certain rankings that are only open to undergraduate universities. We don't have undergraduate universities. Students. So we are different, but that means we are much more business oriented. We are much more in where they want to go. rather than where students come from. But it impacts our reputation because they don't know us, because we don't have undergraduates. Go beyond that. Go beyond that and really look at the course, because the course is outstanding.
Goes without saying that we are very keen to welcome you here to Cranfield. Sangya, thank you very much indeed for joining us today, and best of luck in your parents' organization.
Thank
and
you
Michael,
so
thank
much.
you
I
for
will
joining
come
us.
to India, okay?
We're going to see you
Yes,
out there.
Professor,
And you
you're
must stay
invited.
in touch. You must
Please stay in touch.
Of course.
Brilliant.
That's the only reason I enjoy being in Cranfield, staying in touch with all my colleagues and my professors.
It comes down to the people. Michael, thank you so much indeed for joining us in the studio.
Welcome.
The producer today was Autumn Hanscom. The studio managers were Robin Hackett and Chris Ripley. My name is Toby Thompson. Thank you for watching.